Now, in a further sign of the ruling military's increasing desire to achieve an information blackout, a shutdown of Facebook was then quickly met with denials from the military that they were trying to crack down on social media. Andrew McGregor-Marshall is a former Reuters journalist who's worked extensively in Thailand. Andrew McGregor-Marshall, thank you so much for talking to the world.
Sure.
We've had conflicting reports in the last couple of hours as to a shutdown of Facebook and then the military denying that it was shut down. What have your sources been telling you about what happened with the social media?
That's correct, Beverly. Social media was shut down for about 45 minutes. Facebook was offline, both on mobile phones and on people's private computers. And it was extraordinary development. The military has confirmed they shut down Facebook and say they reserve the right to shut it down again. It's now up again, but it's the latest in a series of things we've seen by the military that shows that they're terrified of the free flow of information. And what's worrying about this is it shows that they're desperate. And when you see desperation in a military junta, there's the risk of people being shot on the streets. That's the real concern.
And at the beginning of this coup, when they first just took martial law as a starting point, some people sort of thought this is not a bad idea. This has become intractable. There's no way through the two sides. How do you see it as it's playing out now?
Well, what the military hasn't understood is that Thais are just no longer willing to have democracy removed again and again. So it's a very volatile situation. You haven't seen anything like this kind of immediate protest against a coup ever in Thai history. This is something new. And I get the sense that the generals are very worried that they're already losing control and that events are unraveling. And that's why, Thailand really is on a knife edge. We could see this coup collapsing relatively quickly and some semblance of democracy being restored. Or in a worst case scenario, we could see the generals backed into a corner and ordering their soldiers to fire on the Thai people.
If you talk about that coup collapsing quite quickly and some form of democracy being restored, what shape would it be? I mean, both sides will not agree on a way forward.
The problem in Thailand, and it's something that I have to be careful of speaking about for the safety of ABC and its operations, is that there's a second unacknowledged struggle going on in Thailand about royal succession and about who will become king after the current one passes. Now, the reason this is such a vicious conflict is because the monarchy controls a fortune of about $40 billion plus, and whichever side plays kingmaker successfully could control this fortune for the next generation. It's illegal to discuss this within Thailand in any more terms than the way I've rather vaguely discussed it now. And this is another reason the military is so desperate to stop independent journalism, stop social media. But unfortunately, until this succession struggle is fixed, it's hard to see Thailand moving forward. Once the succession takes place, I think we should be much more optimistic about the future for Thailand because ordinary people agree on much more than they disagree with.
And you wrote a really interesting piece about the fact that if this king should die, we know he's been very frail. Whoever is running parliament at the time gets to choose the successor. Do you think that plays into the fact that this coup was initiated?
Absolutely. In my analysis of the situation, the crisis ever since 2006 in Thailand has been a battle for control of parliament between two feuding elite factions who want to be in control of parliament when the king dies. Now, the wider crisis in Thailand goes far beyond royal succession. It really is a battle about democracy and equal rights for ordinary people. But that broader battle has become entangled with this secret succession struggle. That's why Thailand's crisis is often so difficult to understand, because the secret part of it is not reported. Half the story is left out. And so it's often baffling. But once you understand that these elite groups are desperate to be in control of parliament when the king passes and he's very old and frail, suddenly it all starts to make more sense.
But if the military was still in control, who would they favour?
Well, as far as we can tell, the generals who are behind the seizure of power favour the Crown Prince's younger sister, who's been beloved by many Thais for years. So they would have to find a way to change the royal succession. The prince is seen as allied with Thaksin, and this is one reason for why the two conflicts have become entangled. But another dangerous element of this crisis is that the military itself is split right down the middle between red and yellow, just as Thai society is. So this is why some people are even making predictions of civil war. I don't think we're at that stage yet, but it's certainly not inconceivable as it might have seemed even just 6 months or a year ago.
Andrew, we do appreciate your time. Thank you so much for your insights.
Thank you.
Now, that's a spectre that's very concerning, the prospect of civil war if this becomes impassable.
Yeah, he makes a good point that the military is split. So if we come to that point where there are two sides and members, the rank and file members of the military have to choose, they may not necessarily go with the side that the leaders choose because many members of the military are seen to be red on the inside, if green on the outside. So there are many things still to unfold here.